Okay, so we're at the library, the Preston Hot Springs Library, Hot Springs, Montana, and I just wanted to um share with you one of the things that we're learning right now is when you're trying to use old school technology with new school technology and you don't give yourself enough time to get that figured out, that it makes it extra challenging. So, note to self, come even earlier than you would generally anticipate until you get it figured out. So, what we're doing here at the library is we're actually working it out in real time. And then I'm going to get to sharing my process here in a moment. But first, I guess this is the other thing is that conversation right out the gate about funding for libraries and other organizations who are operating with outdated or technology that's been around for a long time, seen a lot of use, and might need to be upgraded. So that's part of the conversation that we can always have when we're challenged by technology. And I'm very grateful for the folks here who are helping get that sorted out. And I'll just keep chattering away here. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is just go share my screen.
Yes. USB-C. Okay. Oh, yeah.
What is that?
It's USB-C.
And what does that mean?
It is the newer um version for like charging phones that goes faster. It can handle a lot more input.
Cool. So yeah, I'm here with Jesse and Starla at the library, and Jesse's currently switching out puzzle pieces to the computer trying to make it work. So it's super helpful to have an extra person, extra tech support when you're trying to figure this stuff out. Um, okay, so here's our classroom. And I didn't make a copy of my outline. I sent that to you guys.
Mhm.
When we get this sorted out, I'll just work off of this or work off my memory action, or I'll jump back and forth between the two. So that's good. All this stuff is good to know. Actually, I can just go in and okay, go get my outline that I sent. That has everything that I need in it.
Which one?
It says, I know it says outline on it. I'll just work off of this. Okay. All right. So the first thing that I typically do, and you'll notice this with every single one of my sessions, is that we do a brief check-in because I know that some people get here often. Some people will get into the room late. They'll have a little bit of struggle with figuring out how to get into Zoom, especially if it's new to us. Just so that you know, from the classroom under read this first, it's under calendar and upcoming events, and it says read this first. That is going to, gosh, I hope this shares back and forth. Well, I guess we'll see at the end. Okay, so, but at the top of calendar and upcoming events, it says read this first, and it's gonna give you, you will always be able to find the Zoom link in there. And then after that, you'll be able to find thank you so much. And then after that, you'll be able to find the,
It's a I've
the
got it from
upcoming
the
dates. So today is Wednesday the 4th, and I'm here at the library in Hot Springs. Okay, um, so, ooh, looks like we're getting somewhere with this potentially. Um, okay, so
Okay. Yeah, I just went in.
what happened yesterday is that I went through, the process and added several new cool things to our classroom, which we're going to go through in a moment. But first, I want to do a somatic intelligence process. I've been thinking a lot about regenerative intelligence and what that means in context to AI. Now, regeneration is planting seeds and those seeds growing generation after generation. So our action of planting seeds is part of what helps to repopulate or regenerate the seed pool. And I see AI in context of this as simply a tool and a helper for us to be able to do that more easily because we are living in this digital age and it can be overwhelming. And it is nice to have um, AI likes to call itself a thinking partner, but I think of it more like just a computer tool. And having this computer tool is really nice because if do you need anything? Okay, is it working?
I got it turned off. So we're gonna try the whole turn it off, turn it back on.
Okay, great. Um, and so as I was working through that process, I realized that we can't make it through this digital transformation very easily if we forget to be human in the middle of it. And so um the type the components of regenerative intelligence start with our own human intelligence, our own creativity, and our own ability to make decisions. We can have outside support for making decisions, but ultimately that comes down to us. And so we actually have a couple of extra intelligences that I realized we can tap into and deploy to help us to act with integrity and to make good decisions for ourselves and our community. So those two other intelligence are somatic intelligence and spiritual intelligence. And I'll get into those at a later date, but for now, I want to talk a bit about somatic intelligence. Somatic intelligence is the awareness of our body and what we're feeling inside of ourselves. Now, this is the first time that I've produced this session in person before a live audience. And this morning I was feeling pretty nervous about it. And then, you get to the location and there's nobody here except for the librarians, which that's an audience. They're in the room, they're hearing what you're saying. And that means that I have a bit of a live audience, although they're doing their own thing. They're taking care of their business of the day. Um, Jesse here is actually helping me figure this out so that the next time that we meet, which is upcoming on Saturday, we'll have the opportunity to um, do this, and hopefully that screen will be up and running so that people can actually, if they don't know, if they're not sitting at a computer, that we can all be sitting together and looking at the same screen. So Jesse's helping out with that while I talk to you. Okay, so about Somatic intelligence. Essentially, that word means somatic, of the soma, of the physical body. Something that you might not know about me is I spent 25 years as a massage therapist. And so when I talk about somatic intelligence, I know what I'm talking about. I spent 25 years working with people, helping them tune in, tap into their own somatic intelligence using the breath, using touch to the body, using focusing the mind to be able to help to clear blockages and to reduce stress. So this is that place where I have to deploy that my own somatic intelligence, my own practices over the years, um, to help myself to kind of chill out and reduce my own anxiety about presenting this information. So that's why, as a sort of ritual or ceremony, entering into these sessions with me, we're all going to take just a couple of minutes to get ourselves here, bring ourselves back to our body. Any parts of us that are scattered out into the world, thinking about other things, I'm inviting you to just come back to yourself with the breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, feeling your feet on the ground. Noticing the breath coming into your lungs. You can almost feel the breath like water sort of nourishing all of your cells. And that in through the nose and out through the breath, out through the mouth breath pattern, that really helps to tell your brain, I'm okay, I'm safe, I'm here. And with the next breath, just feel the back of your body. Feel the back of your body and feel that breath come all the way into your spine and the back of your body, in through the nose. Nice deep breath in and out through the mouth, all the way down. Feel your breath go to the ground, through your feet, through your sits bones, through the back of your legs, sitting on the seat that you're sitting on. And you can even let your eyes rest shut, in through the nose, out through the mouth. I know that technical things and computer stuff can be really challenging. Lord knows I have been through it, the gamut, over and over. I've had, we often say you really can't break it, but you can set it into emotion where it's like you feel stuck and you're like, I don't know what to do about this. I actually have something that I've been working on for a couple of weeks, getting my website to point to where my website domain to point to where I want it to go. And I've had to go back and forth with tech, and I don't want to scare anybody off by saying, oh, sometimes it gets really hard. Sometimes it does get challenging, but you just keep working with it and finding people who can help you. And so the people that I bought my domain name from, I'm in conversation with them. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not putting my 100% focused attention to that to just get it straightened out. I've thrown up my hands several times and walked away from it, and that just sort of sets you back. So you're going to test it out with your own computer and see if you can get on. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just saying all of this for you to know that I too often get challenged by tech, and when I do, sometimes I just walk away. I really do. And I go, it'll sort itself out somewhere down the road. Right now, things aren't the way I want them to be. It's not perfect, but it is what it is. And okay, so that brings us to where we actually are right now, which we're in the room. We're looking at the the classroom, and the class that I'm teaching right now is Discover What Good AI Can Do for You. Now, how I'm going to teach this is I'm going to take us through the website itself, and I'm going to take us through the flyer itself. So I brought the flyer with me, And the flyer has vocabulary words attached to it because I don't know what people do and don't know. Sometimes I've been told I use $10 words when I could be using a $1.50 word. Um, at the same time, I think it's good to upgrade our vocabulary. So instead of dumbing things down, I'm just going to make a vocabulary list and we'll just keep adding to it over time. And a lot of this stuff you know it intuitively, whether you know it, the word itself. But I don't want to leave anybody behind. I've attempted to make all of this as easy as possible for folks. So basically, I'm teaching this class off of this flyer. And I also have my own outline. And I'm just going to move through the outline, which also follows what is inside of this classroom. And this, you can consider this an orientation to everything that I'm doing with Remarkable You. We have a writing class coming up. And so what you learn in these introductory sessions, in these orientation sessions, that can really help you to be able to feel more confident with the other things that the other classes that we do, mostly because I'm working inside of Google Classroom and I will do that for the foreseeable future because for several reasons. One, this classroom, the Google ecosystem, and I know that some people have some trepidation, some concerns about the Google ecosystem because for surveillance reasons, quite frankly, um, that that they can kind of watch what you're doing, watch where you're going out into the world using Google, and people don't like that idea that we're being watched. But it's the fact of the matter is that is what it is. If you get on computers at all, then that's part of what's happening. And this is where at the bottom of the flyer, it says, bring your integrity, not your insecurity. And what I mean by that is you have to have enough self-trust that what you're doing on the internet is you're doing good stuff. And that doesn't mean that there aren't people out there in the world who are acting in criminal ways. And I think it's gross, but it comes from somewhere sociologically. When people don't have something, they try to steal something. And that's essentially what hackers do and things like that. So we have to do the best we can to protect ourselves, but it doesn't mean that we don't use the tools that are available to us, because if and when we do that, then we're just leaving the tools to the bad guys. And I just come from the place like I believe that the people that I'm sharing this information with this are generally good people, and they're going to use the tools that I share with them for the good. And that's because I trust that in general, people have good integrity. And otherwise, that's going to happen because you're being part of this. That's you'll feel that confidence and up level coming just in using the the AI in this way. And that brings us to, what is good AI? And good AI versus bad AI. We got into it a little bit. I think that what's the term, like the Wild West? Oh, this is the time of the Wild West when cell phones first came into being. That was the Wild West of cell phones, just computers in general, home computers. This is the newest iteration of tech upgrades, but it's been going on forever. One of the biggest tech upgrades was the printing press. And that caused huge chaos in the world. It was a huge power struggle that happened because the powers that be didn't want people to have access to being able to read and write in their own language and share their thoughts with other people because the printing press made it possible for people to share their ideas widely. And in my opinion, AI is an extension of that. And what I really like about AI is that it's the easiest, and um, I have been through every iteration of how computers have come online since the TSR 80 and the uh what was it called? It was this like weird square Apple Mac computer. It
The bubble on the back?
Not
Or
the
not,
bubble on the
not
back,
that?
it was the super narrow one.
Mm.
Um, I wrote it down somewhere, but now I'm not remembering what that. Anyway, I went to a two-room schoolhouse in Hall, Montana, and our teachers got us computers as soon as they were available. We had two computers in the lower room and two computers in the upper room, and we all had to share. And we all learned from each other. And that's so cool. I forgot. There's a project in India called the Hole in the Wall Project. I saw it on a TED Talk a bunch of years ago, and it stuck with me. It was these computer guys put a computer behind this wall, and they just left it out there in the middle of this square, and these kids came up and started messing around with it. It kind of opened up a window, and they just kept poking around on it, and then they realized they could do stuff with it. And once they realized they could do stuff with it, the next thing you know, they're teaching each other things that they could do with it. They were naming icons, and like the pointer, they named the pointer thing, the little there used to be, I don't know if this is even something that happens anymore, but there used to be like a timer that was like uh um oh God, what do they call? It's so funny. I wasn't expecting to go off on this tangent, but oh, an hourglass. There was an hourglass thing, and it would flip around or something like that in our old school computers. And those kids named that something in particular that had to do with their, like Shiva's something or other, that had to do with their culture. So they came up with all this vocabulary for themselves and named things stuff. And these were like this project was done in a very, very poor area of India. And it just really inspired me about the possibilities. And now that I'm thinking about it, that was my experience in that two-room schoolhouse. We had two computers. We had uh, the PC, which was the IBM, or I don't even know if IBM is considered PC, but it was different than the Apple product. And so we had two different ways to learn and think about computers. And then I had the first iteration of the oh God, what was that? The cell phone. Um, do you
Motorola or BlackBerry?
BlackBerry? Thank you. So I had a BlackBerry. I love that BlackBerry. I kind of miss it still even to this day. I liked actually being able to touch the buttons. So and now I have the version of the iPhone that doesn't even have the button on it at all, and that drives me crazy. So, the changes in technology bother me as well. Um, and still, it is what it is. I just kind of have to keep going with it. And AI is the next extension of that for me. And what I have to say about this, because I've seen all these different iterations, because I tried putting a WordPress site together that was terrible and I didn't know what I was doing. And um, it might still be out there somewhere. I don't even know. Uh, Way back when, and it was such a struggle. And I've been building website after website after website just to focus my ideas into like little areas using Google Sites. And that's why I talk about and teach from Google first, because it has a whole ecosystem, including this classroom. So for people who want to teach, you can organize your thoughts in the classroom first. And then if you want to do other like more bells and whistles type of disseminating of that information, you can choose other options and just put it over into another file. Anyway, I've gone way off off on a tangent here. What we need to do is get back to inside of our Google Classroom. And I'm just going to scroll through here very quickly so that you can see what's inside of here. So if you ever get lost, go to read this first, and you will have the link to the Zoom meeting. Is it not working for you either?
Yet.
Okay.
It's recognized on in my settings, but
You've got a good start.
yep.
Okay. Okay, so you'll have that, and then you'll also be able to see the upcoming sessions. So I'll just be updating it there. And then also at the bottom of the page is a link to Telegram. And I recommend Telegram is as the way of communicating via these phones. I don't want you to think, I want you to be able to connect with me if you get lost with something via the phone. But I like having sort of a third party that sends me the messages, or that we can converse through that rather than because that helps me just keep things organized and straight. So I use Telegram for that, and you can jump in to the classroom via Telegram. Okay, so then what you do is you just close down that session, or actually that's going to take you. If you ever get lost, click on the word classroom in the upper left-hand corner, and then just go back to the classroom that you're in, that you were looking for. So this is discover what good AI can do for you. And then the stream gives the updates. I don't really use the stream very much. It just automatically updates anything that I've added to the classwork. Otherwise, I only typically work out of the classwork page. So that's how you do that. And you just saw me click over to classwork. And that's what you'll do. You won't have people and grades in the back of we're operating off of my inside system. And so you're seeing in the back end what I'm working off of. And nothing here is graded. That's incredibly important. So under the start button, it says important note. Go ahead and check the flyers, these flyers below. They'll show you stuff, but more importantly up here, everything here is optional. Nothing is graded. This is for you to just help yourself out. This isn't about having to do anything or produce anything or get it right. I just want to be very clear about that. Okay, the next piece is the orientation. In that section, well, we'll come back to this in a minute. Then we have 2 sets of 5 questions. This is where we're actually going to do an activity with the people who are in the room. I have 2 sets of 5 questions. One of the sets of 5 questions has a form, a Google form, and the second is just something that you're going to type questions and answers into your AI, which, by the way, some of you might not actually have AI set up right now. So I guess I need to make a note about that. If you don't have your AI set up, that's going to be challenging. So that would be a bit of a homework piece. You can watch me go through this, but if you want to actually participate, and I think it would be a great idea to actually participate, you're going to want to have an AI setup. You can use any of them. They all have sort of a different tone of voice. I use ChatGPT, and that's the one that I'm going to be teaching off of. Okay, we already sort of went over the operational mindset of integrity versus insecurity. The key questions and core promises. Those key questions and core promises are on this page. They are: learn AI the remarkable you way. Well, first of all, discover what good AI can do for you. The second is, what is the remarkable you way? And we have four basic points. How to use AI to talk it out, to speak your ideas and turn them into written text. The AI makes that very easy for you. And there's a secondary way of doing this. I believe we can do this both in Google Docs and in Microsoft Word. That there should be an icon that you can talk to text right in the document, and then you can edit from there after you've talked it out. But I like to actually just do it right in my ChatGPT because that makes it so that I've started the conversation and I can start iterating on the conversation right in the AI. Okay, the next thing that we're going to, the key questions and core promises is how to think through things, how to think things through and use AI to explore options and solve problems. Now, I know a lot of people are using AI for menu planning, which I think is a great introduction in just getting used to using AI, but there's so much more that we can do for this. In fact, we practiced the um, using AI immediately when we um, were stuck trying to figure out how to make the the thing shoot to the screen, the projector work off my computer so that people in the audience who don't have computers and just want to watch what I'm doing, we did this so that people can see that without actually even having to touch their computer. Because the truth of it is, and I have my aunt Janet, I don't know if she's ever going to really take up the computer. And one of the important pieces of this to me is that we don't leave people behind. And I think in a lot of ways people do feel like they've gotten left behind already. And it's kind of like, how do we circle back, not to bring people in and tell them that they've got to use AI? Because I don't believe that that's true. I do think that it can make people's lives easier. Because for one thing, if you need to like fill out applications or and you're expected to have it grammatically polished, it sure can help to clear that up. And at least for me, I think that it's improved my grammar and spelling and way of organizing my thoughts, just having used it over time. And kind of getting in and editing things that the AI makes first round suggestions to me. And then I go in and do the final edits of it. So I'm still learning how to write and read even. Um, and one of the fun things that I've shown some people is have how to write something and then ask the AI to write it in a style of like an author that you really admire so that you can see how your story would look in a favorite author's voice. And I've had some pushback on that as far as like, that isn't developing your voice. But when we read, it does develop our voice. And so if we can see our story written in the voice of an author we admire, that in and of itself can help us improve our writing skills because we can see their writing style, but with our story. And it's just a really cool and fun uh, prompt you can give your AI. Okay, so the next one was, on to that. Polish what you write and help with spelling, grammar, and clarity. That probably is the most valuable use of AI for most people right now. And how you prompt it is really important. Um, the AI likes to get cute. It likes to um, update language in ways that aren't natural to our speaking style. And so I put a set of prompts in here that can help reduce that tendency. The other way that you can do it is to prompt it to like keep your writing style verbatim. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll spend a bunch of time and I'll write in huge blocks. I don't worry about, oh, no, it's okay. I don't worry about using the enter key. I don't worry about my grammar or spelling. Sometimes I do because I like to try to catch it in real time because I think that helps improve my spelling. But overall, I have just learned to just let my ideas flow. And I think that also helps people. I think that in so many ways, um, I don't want to fault the education system because I think it really does the best it can. And it's trying to get us to all kind of have as best skills as we can. So, but certainly for me, I didn't put a lot of stuff out into the world because I was really fearful. Well, I was judged a lot for my grammar and my spelling. And so even though I had good ideas, I got really shy, I guess, about sharing my work. And I I wanted to, anyways, the I started to get over it when I would just put stuff out on Facebook and I would just hit post. I didn't care because I knew that what I said would just go down the scroll and disappear, that people would have to work really hard to find whatever I had said. And so this is where I just started to trust my own integrity. The things that I said, I was like, well, if I am being watched and the things that I am saying, and I'm saying it out in public and I'm saying it on Facebook book where anybody can see what I'm saying out loud and writing the way that I write, then I better like believe and act on to the best of my ability what I'm saying. And that's where this idea of, put your integrity before your insecurity. Yep, I know that information is being watched. I don't care because I know that I'm coming from a good place about it. And that's my integrity. So that's my approach. And so now with this idea of just letting your ideas flow and just going for it and writing it in there and then letting the AI sort it out. But when you tell it, and the word is verbatim, it's exactly the words I said. And even exactly in the order I said it. Don't mix it up. Let me see what I wrote exactly as I said it. But here's what I asked the AI to do. Make the paragraph breaks. Put the proper punctuation in. Make sure that the spelling is correct. That's polished. So it's my exact words and they are exactly polished. Now, once that piece of the puzzle is done, I go back in and I start to improve my writing, or I'll ask the AI to smooth it out for me, or I'll give it a suggestion in how might want it to smooth it out. These are the ways in which you can start playing with the AI and developing your voice. And you can have a conversation with the AI. And in fact, it will typically do this on its own. It will just automatically do it. Um, it'll give you suggestions or it will see patterns and point out patterns of what it's seeing in your natural writing style, which I also think is another way of learning how to polish your own work and learning about your own natural writing voice. And what we really want is for people to develop their natural writing voice. We're more inclined to write and to share what we think when it is authentic to us. And that is why I think that AI can be a really helpful tool in that way. And then the final piece is about creating simple visuals, flyers, covers, and project materials. I've done a whole bunch of this in my orientation. We took one story, a conversation between my friend Kurt and I, and we actually had a conversation. We did this process. We had the conversation. We went back and forth. I put that conversation into ChatGPT and I said, make it so that there's a speaker one and a speaker two. Now sort out what that whole conversation was about. And it did that. And then I asked it to make a summary, write an essay. I think I told it to write a poem based off of it. So I asked it to write that concept in a variety of styles. And from that process, I realized that I would be able to um, do something interesting with it next. And I did. I I did that process I was telling you about earlier, where we put it in. I think the first one was I asked her, "Who's your favorite author?" And he said Tolkien. So I said, "Write it like Tolkien. Write our story like Tolkien. Now write the story like Louis L'Amour. Write uh the story like." Oh, I think I said Mercedes Lackey. She's a science fiction writer. We did a science writer that was a favorite of Kurt's, and we did a science writer competitor. So we had all these different writing styles, and then we asked the ChatGPT to make a visual cover for this, just to show that process was our story. It wasn't even my story. It was a conversation between two people. And we asked it to figure out what the themes were, to write an original essay, and then to show us what that would sound like written in other people's styles. And it was just a super fun process. Kurt really liked that, which I want to get to some of the ways that other people have used AI, not just the ways that I've used AI. And that's case studies and examples next, and then inspiration. In here, you'll find the information about the Hole in the Wall project, 826 Valencia. It's a literacy project that was done in San Francisco. The first time I saw Dave Eggers did a TED Talk. It was fantastic, totally inspired me. And then the Guatemalan Literacy Initiative, or no, not, it was Nicaraguan literacy initiative that happened in the 80s, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, something like that. And these were these are my inspiration about literacy and kind of what to it gets me excited. The Nicaraguan piece was feet on the ground. It took the literacy rate from 50% to 80%, something like that, out in the countryside, and it was done person to person. Hole in the wall, again, it was kids teaching each other. Um, and then Dave Edgers, um, it was writers and poets in San Francisco tutoring kids in the back room of this weird uh, shop that out front they made money for their nonprofit by selling pirate paraphernalia. And so that's how they funded their nonprofit, so that they could and then writers and poets would volunteer, and people would and that's just a model program that gets me inspired. And then what's next? Opportunities to dive deeper. We have the winter writing camp coming up, um, and a few other things, but we have barely gotten into this session. So that tells me that we're probably gonna have to break this up into a couple of sessions. And I need to smooth this out and streamline it a little bit more. Just as far, I haven't put Kurt's, or I haven't put CK's story book in here, but a friend of mine was talking with his sister about writing a children's story about their mom, who's in her 80s. And she has a story about Rickety Crickety Lane and the Shady Grove, and all the animals she meets down on Rickety Crickety Lane. So CK ended up writing, asking ChatGPT, or asking the AI to create a children's book with visuals in it. And that was his first AI project. Right now, he is using AI for physics, mathematics. When he went all in, he went all in, and he had a background in in AI even before. He was writing code for AI 30 years ago. And then he sort of like threw in the towel on it a little bit. But he's really excited about, you think about this. He's somebody who has a background in physics and math, and there aren't a lot of people around his small town that are into physics and math. So it can be pretty lonely. And for him to be able to talk to an intelligence, a computer intelligence, and be able to have conversations with a lot of depth, it's really fun for him. But his reacquaintance with AI was working on a children's book for his mom and his family about his mom. Super cute. I'm going to get a copy of that and you'll be able to see it. Um, let's see. We went over this, a closer look at the piece. Okay, the second example I wanted to give was MG, a mother of two. She had to do a parenting plan for one of her kids, and it was going to cost thousands of dollars to deal with an attorney to be able to put this together in a way that was proper. And also, she was going to have to go through mediation. She wanted to be really prepared for that. She didn't want to have to spend thousands of dollars on it. So she used AI. I just kept bugging her. I'm like, use the AI for this. It will help. Um, sure enough, that's what she did. I'd say she saved about $2,000 in the time that she would have spent with her attorney. In the end, she paid about less than $500, and it went very well. So people are using this for basic legal stuff. What I recommend is don't use it for legal, but get prepared. If you're going to have to pay an attorney for anything, get prepared so that they don't have to sort through all of your thoughts. The AI can help you sort through your thoughts ahead of time, make your own case for what you want them to, do for you. And that's going to save you a ton of time and money working with attorneys or paralegals. So again, don't use AI for legal advice. It will thwart you on that. It will tell you that it won't do that as it should. But you can use AI to prepare to work with legal folks, and it can be really helpful and time saving and money saving. Okay. Um, this is the first prompt. Very first prompt. It's right in there under orientation. I'm going to tell you about myself, my work, and how I think. You can copy and paste this. For now, I want you to listen, organize, and retain what I share, not respond, interpret, or summarize unless I ask. Because that's one of the things that AI wants to do. It always wants to give its opinions on stuff. And it's like that can be really useful and fun. But if you just want to get what you've got on your mind out, tell it to to keep its mouth shut unless it's asked. Okay. This information will form the foundation of my About Me page. And I did my About Me page, which is on the back of my flyer, and it's the best I've ever done. I'm really proud of it. It took me a lot of iterations, actually. I had to keep going over and over it because I wanted it to be on one page. I wanted the font type to be easy enough for people with good eyes and bad eyes to be able to read it. Um, and And it is a foundational document that will help the AI understand you, but it will also help other people understand you better. So this is one of the first things that we work on is creating your About Me document, which is just helpful. So the information that I'm sharing with you, the AI, serves to develop the foundation of the About Me document, which will become the first piece in a living dossier portfolio we'll build together over time. Please, and these are bullet points, take structured notes. This is what I'm telling the AI to do, right? But this might also be what you're telling somebody that you're wanting a person to learn from you, you might tell them, take structured notes. Notice patterns, themes, values, and language I repeat. Track roles, projects, frameworks, and preferences. Hold questions, gaps, and curiosities for later. This is take notes but also take notes on things that make you curious. And that can be really useful when talking to the AI too. When I'm finished, I will ask you to reflect back what you heard from me and then ask me thoughtful follow-up questions to deepen accuracy and clarity. Do not interrupt unless I explicitly invite it. If you understand, acknowledge briefly and wait. Now, ChatGPT is built, or these AIs are built to give us some kind of response every single time. It's not going to respond. As soon as I hit the button, it is going to respond. So just so you know that. So it's good to tell them to acknowledge that they acknowledge briefly that it understands and then wait. All right, so we got through that orientation section. Now I lost it again. So I have to go up to the highlighted section that says discover what good AI can do for you. That'll take us back to the stream, and then we go back into the classroom. All right, so let's see. Now we started about 15 minutes late. So to just take us all the way through the hour that we were allotted, I'm just going to keep going, see how far we can get into this process. The next section is called What Do You Want? And there are 5 core questions that I use over and over and over. These are questions that I will ask you in person. I will ask you to reflect on them at the beginning and often at the end to see if anything has changed from the beginning to the end based on what we've learned during our session. So developing good and useful, this is the form, and you can type into the form, or I can show you a couple of ways that you can use AI to help to write it for you. Because here's the truth. Some people, one, never learned to type. We don't want to leave them out just because they'd never learned to type. So we have to give them other options, right? When I say learn to type, type in an efficient way. Typing like hunt and pecking, most people can do, but it's arduous and it makes us not want to use the computers very much. So, but we don't want to leave people out just because they're not good typers. And there are great tools that I'm going to show you to make it possible for you to not have to type. The other thing is some people, like I've noticed that all this typing is making my arms and my hands hurt. And for people who have arthritis or other physical challenges, typing can be too painful to do. So we don't want to leave those people out. So I'm going to show you a way that we can use AI to be able to document to participate. Yeah, to participate. All right. Actually, I take it back. This form isn't our primary questions. I think I'm going to go back and give our five core questions, move that around. Okay. And I don't have this in here right now. Here are the 5 core questions. What do you want? What will having that do for you? How will you know when you have it? Like what will it look like when you have what you want? What's it like now? And what might you have to give up to get it? Okay. And so we ask these questions over and over again. And it's because, okay, so think about this. And I should have done this right at the beginning, but I wanted to introduce, this will get smoother. The first question is, what do you want from AI? What do you want from AI? I mean, that's how you're going to sort of define whether it's good AI or not, is does it do for you what you wanted it to do for you? And does it Yeah. Can it be used for good? We'll get further into this, but there's a lot of ethical questions around AI and how it's currently being used. And we can talk about that, but this is the time when we sort of suspend disbelief and we just ask, what if I could have a fairy godmother come and do some of the things that I've been trying to do with computers and tech, what would that be? How could AI maybe help me? Because if you don't think about how it can help you, then it's just like this thing that's, either a tool you don't need or it's something that's scary because you're not working with it at all. You don't know what it can do. So the first question is, what do you want? And this can be applied to your day-to-day life. You can, if you could use this with a customer. What do you want? Think about AI as being like um, someone who's trying to like you walk into the shop, into a store, and the the customer service person comes up to you and they say, "Well, what can I help you with? What do you need? What do you want? What can I help you with today? What are you looking for? What can I help you find?" That's the first question. What do you want? Okay. Um, what will having that do for you? How is that going to make your life better? You have to know how it's going to make your life better. Otherwise, why do it? Why spend the time trying to figure out how this tool works if you don't know how it might make your life better? And that's where imagination comes in. You might not know how it can make your life better. I certainly have learned so much in my experience with AI that I don't I hardly even know where I began with it. I'm not on the same stuff I was on back then. I'm in a totally different place. I've built a totally different set of needs and tools around what I need right now, how I'm using it right now. Um, okay, so what do you want? What'll having that do for you? What's it look like when you've got it? Again, deploying your imagination. What does it look like when you've got it? Um,
Oh, that's Starla.
without looking at, without thinking about what you want that, how you want that change to look, it makes it really difficult to know if you've got there. We want people to have good experiences with the AI. We want people to have experiences where they feel like there's been a transformation, something has changed, something has improved. We want you to think about what that improvement looks like and feels like so that you know when you've got it. We want you to be able to say, this was a good experience. Then what's it like now? For most people, it's like, I don't even know how this tool works. I don't even know what the back end looks like. I don't know how to set it up right. This is making a lot of clarity for me. I just need to get into the AI tool itself and show you around, show you the lay of the land and how to get it originally set up so it can be the most helpful for you. Some of this just simply has to do with you knowing what you want from it. Those questions are asked in here. And then finally, what might you have to give up to get it? One of the things people might have to give up to get it is skepticism that it's going to be bad. Just automatically out the gate, it's just bad because it's a computer thing, um, because it's technology, and we don't, and we're um, cautious at the very least, but skeptical, that it's going to be helpful. So we might have to give that up. We might have to give up that. Well, my aunt says that she um doesn't know how to do it and she doesn't want to do it. Well, if she does want to do it, if she does want to participate, she might have to give up that attitude, you know? And just knowing that about yourself, what you might have to give up, it brings us back to the first question, which is what do you want? What do you want from this? All right. So those are the 5 core questions. This is not the first time that you'll hear them from me. I use them over and over. That's how powerful I think those 5 questions are. But now we have those 5 first questions, and I just want to go over this. We just have a few more minutes of time here. But those 5 core questions of what kinds of writings show up in your life right now? Like, how are you using writing? Are it forms and letters or paperwork? Are you using it for work stuff, for emails, reports, proposals, schedules? Are you using it for personal, for family writing, for letter writing? Are you using it to explain complicated things clearly? Are you using it to in a creative or community related way? Poetry, writing fiction? Do you have a hidden book hidden there that you've been working on for a long time and nobody knows about it, but you haven't brought it out because you know it needs polished and you can't afford an editor? Maybe AI can help with that. Why this matters, this helps the AI understand, um, this helps the AI understand where writing already lives in your not life, not where you think where the AI thinks it should. Okay, the second question is let's see. What do you usually need help with when you're writing? Do you need help getting started? Do you need help organizing your thoughts? I really needed help organizing my thoughts when I first started. Making things clear, sounding more confident, saying hard things calmly. Oh my God, it can really help with that. And shortening and simplifying. That probably was the most valuable tool that I've had. And why this matters. It This tells the AI how to actually be useful to you instead of guessing. Um, the next question is, I guess I put 4 on that, but this is question number 3. If your fairy godmother showed up and waved a magic wand to help, what would you most wish for around tech? Would it be did you get it? Yay! You got something. Something happened. Yay. Okay. Let's see. Get back some of your time from technical task. Would you use it to reduce stress, to help people understand you better, to have it help you handle important situations, to preserve something that matters? I talk a lot about, I'm working with my aunt, so I'm writing kind of the story of their lives as part of a memoir project. We're not calling it a memoir. We're not saying we're writing a memoir because that's stressful, but we're just trying to preserve some of the stories of things that were important to them. And then the other way it might be helpful is to speak up when you need to. Stand up for yourself. Why this matters. This keeps the focus on your life, not on the tool. And the thing about this is I'm giving you some suggestions, but really this is your opportunity to write or say what you really want out of it. Okay, now what would make using AI as a tool feel worth it to you? Feeling more confident, not dreading writing and computer related tasks, having something finished. I know for me, having things finished is really helpful. This, again, this about me page, I iterated, I iterated, I iterated. This flyer, I iterated, I iterated, I iterated. Because it had to fit on the page and it had to be true to who I am and what I'm doing right now. So, feeling heard or understood, I really wanted to feel heard and understood, and I wanted things to make sense. But ultimately, I wanted to be able to take this out and share it with people. So I wanted it to be finished. And this matters because it makes it so the AI can support you and not rush you. So filling out this questionnaire is incredibly important, not just for us, not just for me to be able to help you better, but also for you to understand yourself and your needs better. Even if you don't go any further than this, if you fill out the form You'll get your responses back sent back to you. So you have that as a baseline piece. This is also how we use forms and why we ask for your email with the forms, because that's the only way that I can send you the messages back. The other thing you can do is just copy and paste the questions and fill it out in your own document. Okay, where are we at in this process? We went over the integrity and security. We went over the the operational mindset. We went over the key questions and core promises. The question is, I'm going to ask you to share your experience. What did you discover about yourself, about AI, about the world that we're living in, and what you want for yourself within that context? And then you can just go ahead and share that in the chat. So that's really helpful. And also when you share it in the chat, it shares with other people what they're, it's like, oh yeah, I got that too. It helps us learn from each other, right?
This one.
All right.
Shares with us a device.
Two other pieces. These case study examples. I don't have this fully fleshed out, but right now I'm in a conversation with a Methodist church, and they want to use it for a couple reasons. They want to, one, just understand for their members how to use AI, and two, use AI in a good way. But I suggested to them that it might help them to organize their to help them organize or make decisions. And I have a really cool way of helping people make decisions, and it's using that form. So it's exactly what you just saw. So basically we ask people to just write in the form first, submit what their thoughts from the form, and then we let the AI kind of sort out the analysis of it so that we just can get through the process a little bit quicker, and we don't have people's personalities and people's egos and how hard we've had to fight to get our point across. That's not so much in the mix. We definitely have to talk things through as a group, right? Because we have to make those decisions as a group, as people living in a community or working in a community. But we can let the AI do some of the initial sorting and organizing of our collective thoughts so we can really see what's on the page. And it just helps the process along. So the other places that a church might use it, the pastor might use it to make the sermon. It might help people put the program together. It might help the Monday school teacher or the Sunday school teacher to put their class together for their students, to feel more polished with it, to have it take less time. Just because we put in a lot of time on something doesn't mean that it's not that the time was wasted, but if we can have help in some places and that opens up other areas of our life where we have more time, I think that's probably a good thing. Yeah. So that's just the Methodist Church. That's kind of where we were thinking about them. And then I wanted to share a project that I personally did, which was I went to the state of Montana to talk to them about the library's Lighthouse initiative. Now, that's something that's still near and dear to my heart, but I've for a variety of reasons, I'm being called in a different direction now. But I needed to be able to speak with each agency, and I chose 6 of them very explicitly. I chose the Department of Labor, the Department of Commerce, Education, the library, the service organization, and the governor's office. So each of them have something called an OGSM document. And that's basically where it's a spreadsheet, but it says this is how we're going to use our budget and funds, but it's sorted out in a document sort of way. And I found one for one of the agencies, and I thought, well, if there's one, there must be one, maybe one for each. And so, yeah, each agency had a version of this OGSM. I collected all of them. I let the AI sort them out, and I said, based on what we've been working on for the library's Lighthouse initiative, what would our version of an OGSM look like? And so we put that together, and it took me, I don't know, a couple of hours. And then I asked the AI to write letters that were distinct to each one of the agencies based on exactly what their agency needs and wants, based on what their OGSM was. And I sent those emails, and I did that all in one day. And this would have been months worth of work for any one person and team to do. That happened because I had AI available to me. So I shipped that off. And the good news is I got 4 callbacks from 6 agencies. And I feel like that's practically unheard of in government. And, I really feel like government could be using AI more effectively. And I understand that the hesitation right now in its infancy, but I do hope that the work that I'm personally doing and around, what is good AI and what is integrity versus, insecurity in this realm. And just trusting that we're all trying to work together and make this world a better place. And and that we can do that together, and we should be doing that together. And it's smart, it's wise to use the tools at our disposal. So with that, I'm going to leave you to go in and check out the last night. I actually generated an audio. Yeah. I used another AI tool called NotebookLM. It's another Google system, and it generated an explainer video and a video, which was 6 minutes long, and an audio conversation that's like a podcast. It did that in, I don't know, under an hour, maybe more like a half hour. And it really, I think, does an excellent job of explaining concisely what I've been working on and how this might be helpful to you. So that I put that in the inspiration section, and then I'm also going to put my notes about the Nicaraguan Literacy Project, the Literacy Project, 826 Valencia, that excellent national. Now they started out locally and then they went nationally. Fundraising concept or nonprofit concept that's very effective, and it's really useful for helping with literacy for young people, especially. And it's a good fundraising model. And then the last one is the Hole in the Wall project, because I think ultimately that's what we're doing. This is, people are one of the biggest concerns around AI is that it's going to make people more disconnected. And I believe that it's going to make us more connected. And I think that we have multiple, that the Hole in the Wall project, what my experience in that 2-room schoolhouse growing up, even working at University of Montana Western when I was a student there, they have a really unique model where they do these 30-day learning spans, and you study one topic for 30 days and you dive really, really deep into it. And it just helps people really understand much better. And the whole class works together. And so I've been blessed to have the opportunity to study education firsthand using these really innovative models. I see innovation and recognize it, and I try to bring it to you as inspiration for what's possible when we use when we use these tools of technology good and well. And I just want to reiterate that, trust yourself, trust your own integrity. That's how you show up, and that's how we use the AI for good. Lastly, again, we do have more opportunities coming up. There's the winter writing camp. I work as a consultant and can work with people directly that way. And then we are working on uh, our own nonprofit called Our Shared Community Resources, and also known as Oscar. So those are the couple of ways that you can learn more about what I'm doing and the next steps and opportunities that you have with AI and for your community and for yourself. So I thank you so much for your time, and I jump in there and notice up here in calendar events when the next upcoming events are. Come again if you want to learn more. We kind of just cover the same basic stuff. And yeah, we'll see you the next time. I'm going to extend this into the next week, and we'll just do this until we get more people in and involved, and it's a great way to start. Thanks for your time. Take care.